And I said, I'm going to tell the world. I said, okay, everybody, lift up your ears. but anyway, those FBI guys sat there. Now, they had followed me down duck hunting all the way to Iowa and back all morning long. And I said to them, I said, you guys, so you could have just came to my office. I said, but you went and did that. I said, now you do know I outshot my buddy here 6-2 in ducks, right? I was right validation. But anyway, so I'm joking, but I'm going, you guys realize what you did here? I said, with my past, if you'd have done this at night, I said, I would have bashed through you with my truck. I wouldn't have hesitated. We had guns in the back, from hunting, open, whatever. I said, I would have bashed through you. It would have been a high-speed chase. I'd have been looking for a real cop. And I said, this is disgusting what you did here. And I went on him and I said, then I told him about citizens in Colorado. They had broke into them while they were having breakfast, bashed their doors in, took their daughter. One daughter was 14 years old, out in the yard in their underwear. And none of them getting arrested. And I said, you guys should be ashamed of yourself. That one FBI goes, Mike, we're just doing our job. I said, your moral compass is gone. And then I started talking about Jesus. Yeah. So I'm a half hour witnessing to these FBI guys out there. And then the one FBI guy goes, I've been doing this 30 years. And he goes, Mike, we got things to do. And I go, oh, you do, huh? You interrupt me here. But he's shaking his head, here witnessing to these guys. But it's just how everything's been tilted, with you have people, good people that are out there, but they've been so brainwashed and stuff, and we've got to break through that. And these are the times we're in where you can't, if you're a pastor, if you're evangelist like you guys do, if there's people out there, if you can't evangelize now and get people to the Lord, you're in the wrong business. Right. It's the perfect time in history. Yeah. This is the grace we're in. Yep. We have the opportunity. If Donald Trump, if they'd have put him back in, we'd have not only lost our country forever, but we were getting boiled like frogs. And we'd have slowly been, the evil invasion. This is a battle of evil and good of biblical proportions. We're in that time. Yes. It's the most important time probably in history, and we'll see. But we know God wins in the end. Like I said, it's a win-win.
Chapters. What would you say that your chapter now is that God's prepared you, looking back for this moment? All the stuff you've been through.
When my book ends, that's a good question. When my book ends, people have read it, said it's the most. They'll read it cover to cover. It takes them 9 hours and 9.5 hours. They don't put it down. They go, I've never read a book like that. People tell me, I read a book maybe once a year, and if I do, it takes me months to read. It's cover to cover because you go from getting your head cut off in Mexico with cartel wars to all these different things that happened in the book, and you see these many miracles and this incorrigible guy moving along the path. Show me more, God, show me more. All those experiences prepared me when that book ended in 2017, and it says to be continued. From there till now, it's like living inside the biggest spy movie you'd ever seen in history. You may take that and magnify by 100, and maybe even more, things you can't believe. That's why I ended up coming to the Lord. I'm going, okay, you can't make this up. This would be impossible.